Youth Culture, hello. You probably just saw we are here today with the one and only, pretty much everyone's favorite person, Sige. I won't say your full name because I can't, but also we're here. We just got done hanging out and volunteering in Watts, is one of the areas here in Los Angeles that we do some, I don't know, some work at, hanging out at. It's not even really work. Yeah, it's really not even work. It's like the best part of my week. We put together a farmer's market, do some tutoring, and Sige is a faithful volunteer at this place, and she's more than that. She's incredible, and if you don't already know and love Sige, you will here in the next few minutes. We are in the middle of doing a series where we're having conversations with students. Now, you might be wondering, is Sige a student? She's no,
like one.
well, she looks like one. That is true. There's very few people that make me look tall. Sige's one of them, which is great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I needed that boost of confidence. I really did.
I know. It was all for you.
Thank you. We're doing a series, having conversations with students. Sige was a student and is now a leader within Youth Culture here in Los Angeles, which is awesome. Thanks for sticking around. I didn't scare you off apparently, which is nice. Tell us your full real name. You're from Brazil, and so it's not normal. At least it's not like the normal English name, and it's the coolest name in the entire world. Get ready for this. You ready? Tell us your full name.
Okay, well, everyone calls me Sige, and you can call me Sige, but my full name is Sigfridi Crystal Andrade Moreira. And
wow. That's
why they call me Sige.
And that's why we call you Sige, primarily because I would feel bad mispronouncing it,
I know. I do have friends, childhood friends that we've been friends for my whole life, and they find out that my name's not Sige, and they're like, what the heck? Because I never tell anyone.
Yeah.
It's Sigfridi.
Yeah. Now, tell the people how long you and the rest of the LA crew made fun of me without me knowing, because I would call you Ziggy with a Z.
Very vocally.
Very vocally. You guys know me. I'm just loud and confident, so I thought I was right. And meanwhile, they're all laughing behind my back.
No, I think it was over a year. Of every time saying Ziggy with such an emphasis.
Yeah.
And we would even be mid-prayer upstairs at the Saban, and everyone's their eyes closed, and then be like, and God, we pray for Ziggy, always I pray every time.
At what age did you move from Brazil to the States?
I moved to LA when I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
By yourself, with family?
By myself. I came to be an exchange student when I was 15 as a junior.
Whoa.
So I stayed with the host family, never met anyone. By the way, I didn't speak English. I always
not a word of English when you came over.
I did speak a word, but
right.
if you're we're talking right now and you're saying a lot of things, and I'm just
yeah, you probably spoke English like I speak Portuguese, which is...
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
Did you learn how to speak?
No, I know some soccer teams. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it was very, nothing. I didn't speak English, and it was really hard for me because you can tell I like to talk a lot, and it was just so frustrating to want to talk, want to stand up, and I didn't have the voice to. So I just paid a lot of attention with my host family. I tried to talk a lot to them. But yeah, anyways, came by myself when I was 15, stayed with the host family, junior and senior year of high school. I went to a big high school when I was 15, my junior year.
Yeah.
And I had to find a private small school because foreigners can only attend to a year of private school, exchange students.
Okay.
And then that's it. And then I'm in college now.
You're in college now. That's awesome. Wait, so you moved to America. You're basically by yourself. You're living with a strange family. You hardly speak English. How was that emotionally?
I my parents.
Whoa.
It's the programs before you come, you have to meet with a psychologist, and they told me a lot of things how Americans don't like Brazilians and how we're loud and a lot of things, and how I had to portray myself and how to act.
So somebody told you how to act, almost how to fit in.
How to not be me, how to not be my culture.
How did that make you feel?
It was really that's one of the reasons why I was always guys, please tell me if you can hear my accent, because I tried that first year was really hard for me because I was doing theater in school. I was learning how to talk. And I just hated every single time I talked. And they were like, where are you from? Like, I can hear that accent because I would go to restaurants and I'd be served. I would go to restaurants and people, countless times, people would come and be like, hey, can you guys be a little less like loud? You're being so loud right now. We're gonna have to ask you to leave. Like, so a lot of times I just tried really hard to like learn the language and not sound so like I'm not one of your guys.
Do you feel like you have been able to take steps forward in being yourself? And then maybe even for people who are watching that have gone through something similar, like what is something that you did that helped you be authentically you, your full Brazilian accent, funny as can be self? Because you're brilliant.
Well, thanks. It all ties back to church because you know, like I was here not even for a year when I started going to church, and I went to YC and never left.
Yeah, thank God.
I mean, and so it's funny. I talked to the girls about it. It's like with the community, with the friends, like the church youth and all of that. It's like I'm so comfortable. Like I don't even try. And we always say that every time I meet a new person. It's like, if you ask me right now, do an American accent, I could not. My brain could not. I'm like, well, I'm trying right now. This is how I think you sound. But if I meet a new person for like the first time, it's like my brain still like tries a little harder, and I'm not even like, I'll talk to someone for a while and they're like, well, and they'll ask me where I'm from, like, oh, we're in LA, and I'm like, well, I'm actually from Brazil. And I'm like, wow, I couldn't tell. I didn't hear any accent. It's like I try a little harder, but I'm saying that to say that in this, like, let's say 3 years after I started coming to church and creating my whole community and all that, it's like I learned that I could be myself. Because there was a whole thing that I couldn't be myself, because if people see that I'm not from here, I'm not loved. You know, like they don't like, it was the whole thing, like they don't like you. You can't show.
And you were just told that from the beginning. It stuck with you.
You can't show who you are, otherwise people won't like you.
Wow.
And it was a lot of that. I've had a lot of actual like experiences that were like, they're like, no, you know, high school or like anywhere. But what I'm saying is that like with youth, like just because if you didn't know, YouthCulture is my family. Like I can't say anything else. Like from the moment I came, never left. It's been 3 years, and it's just like with everyone, I just feel really comfortable. You know, like I can be myself. I think it was just like finding the people that care, you know, because I passed by a lot of people that didn't, you know, that were the actual like stereotype. And then it was like finding my community, finding like the people that care and love me. And it's that thing, like I'm not from here. I'm never gonna be from here. I'm Brazilian. And even though I could try really hard for years to get an American accent, I'm still not gonna be from here. You know, I'm still gonna be Brazilian. So,
and you shouldn't be. You should be Brazilian.
No,
That's
like,
right.
I don't want to be from here.
That's right.
And it's just really nice to like have such good friends that will be like, no, I like your Brazilian self. And it's just like reassurance that makes you just be comfortable in who you are.
That's unbelievable. Thank you for sharing that. That's gonna help a lot of people, and I'm excited for that.
So.
I mean, and so speaking of helping other people too, so you were a student within YouthCulture for 2 years, and you've now been a leader for pretty much a year now. This past year has been chaos. No one knows how long time is anymore or whatever, but how was the transition between being a student and being a leader, and what was it that made you want to like stick around and lead within YouthCulture?
Well, that's actually really funny you asked that, because I was talking to Emma, one of her friends, and we were talking about that specific thing, and I was just like, no one knows what's going on in like other people's lives. So when I started going to YC, you guys, I lived so far from church. It was a Wednesday night. I lived in West Hills, all the way up in the valley, and
it's a long ways away.
It's really far from Beverly Hills. It was a Wednesday night.
You would Uber, right?
I would take 4 buses, the metro, for 2 hours, and I would get there early, and I would be at Starbucks doing work until it was time for church, and then I would Uber all the way every week by myself, and it was just like I needed that so bad. And here's the thing. no one around like knew, or like no one needed to know, but it was just like that just helped me so much, just having that, just having that so much. Like every Wednesday just made me feel so much better. Like my world could fall apart on Thursday. It was just like on Wednesdays, it was just so good to see everyone, to hear. I just felt so loved. Like I just felt like, oh, overflowing. Like, and so that's what made me want to become a leader. I was like, no one had a single like idea of how badly I needed it, and how like how big of an impact like you had on my senior year, or like Leah had, or like every other like leader, and everyone, like even the students, you know. So like, what if like there are other students? I was like, I wish I want to be that person for someone else, because the same way that like no one needed or like knew that like that was so important to me, like there are a lot of kids out there that might need just the same thing. You know? And
somebody there.
Everything for me.
If you could go back and give younger version of Sige a piece of advice, what do you think it would be? And you can kind of pick the age range to it, because you're 19 now?
Yeah.
I'm 31. What is happening? Come on, I know some things.
It's my birthday.
I have no idea. Come on, that's not fair.
If I could say something to younger, not little, Sige, it would be just to not trust that things will happen, like, yeah, that too, but the bad things that are happening that seem like the end of the world, they have a purpose, you know. Like I've been through a lot in life, like we all have, and I would not go back and change a thing, because I think they all made me who I am. And not only who I am, but they also, like, a lot of things that I went through made me like relatable to other kids, to my friends, my best friends.
Yeah.
Just to have, I don't know, I just think it's really good to, like, through like dark times, like hard times, to be like, maybe this actually, you know, it sucks to say, but it actually, like, maybe this has a purpose. Like, maybe it does happen for a reason. And just to like hang on and keep praying.
Hang on.
You know?
Absolutely. God has a plan through everything. And it's very easy for us to go, there's no way God has a plan in this.
There's no way. Like,
just no way.
I just can't believe he let me, like, he's up there and he's seen how bad I am right now. Okay, I'm gonna have to say this. And I always talk about this thing, because I truly believe, like, I am that person. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Like, I do believe that, like, the worst moments of all, like, there is a reason. And I always, my favorite story of the Bible is in John 11.
Let's go.
Showing off my Bible skills. But John 11, when Lazarus is dying, and the two sisters, I think, please do not, like, quote me on that.
Yeah.
Like, Martha and Mary.
Yeah.
Like, one of them comes up to, like, another city, and Jesus is there with the disciples, and they're like, yo, Jesus, our brother whom you love. They say,
whom you love.
Yeah, whom you love.
They pull out the love card.
Yes. We're like, really did that. But anyways, it was like, whom you love is dying right now, and we need you to come and, like, work something up, you know, like, make some miracles and just do something, save him. Like, you love him, you love us, we love you, we know that you can do it. Like, they're literally just saying, like, can you just come save him?
Yeah.
And they're telling him, like, he's dying. And then she leaves, and I can't remember which disciple says, yo, Jesus, like, I think we should go. Like, he is dying. Like, let's take off. And he says, no, let's stay. Let's stay for another, like, few days or something.
Yeah.
And they say, like, extra, like, 3 days.
Yeah.
And then Jesus was like, yeah, okay, now we can go. And then they go and they get to the city where like, the siblings live. And he's been dead for, like, 3 days. And then they're, like, walking up to it, and one of the sisters comes, and they're, like, sobbing, and they're so sad, like, Jesus, like, why did you do that? Like, we asked you to come. And she says, if only you had been there. And, like, I always think about that phrase, if only you had been there. Like, you always think, like, Jesus, you weren't there, because if you had been there, we would have been saved with no pain. If you had been there, we would have been so good right now. He would be alive. And then Jesus gets kind of sad, and it's like, okay, go get your sister. And then she goes, gets her sister, and then the sister comes, and the whole like Jewish crowd comes with her. Now there's a whole lot of people, and then she says the same exact thing. I don't know if they talk between the sisters.
Right.
She said the same exact thing.
Little gossip, you know, on the back end.
This is what I told you. And then she goes and says the same thing, like, if only you had been there. And I think there's a third time they say that, that just really strikes me. And then Jesus starts crying. He gets really sad.
Yeah, shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept.
Yeah, and then they're like, Jesus like, take me to Jesus. Oh.
To Lazarus.
He's like, take me to Lazarus. And then they go there. He's dead. He's crying over like the dead body, and there's a whole crowd around. And then he just makes him come back to life just like that. And then and then he says in the Bible that if they're in pain, there would be a miracle, you know, like he says that he loved Lazarus and he loved the sisters. And it's just like, well, if you love me, why are you gonna let me go through a pain of like having my brother die? You know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if Jesus loves me, why is he letting me go through this huge pain right now? And it's just like, he knows you're in pain, and it's like, oh, if he was here right now, I wouldn't be in pain. But I just truly believe, like, in that story, like, he knows you're in pain, and he has a purpose for that. Like, maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe yes, maybe their faith was made stronger because of that. But also, it was through their pain that the whole crowd around saw that miracle take place.
Yeah.
Because if he had been there and Lazarus was alive, there's no miracle. Like, just can't, you know, like, why do you need a doctor if you're not sick?
Wow.
So I just always look back at that story, and at the end it says, like, and because of that, there was a whole crowd that witnessed the miracle, and they all started following Jesus. So I just always like to think, even though the pain might be insanely hurtful, like, I see no purpose. I just always go like, no, Jesus,
there's a miracle. Yeah.
Like, in the middle of all this, like, there's gonna be maybe not a miracle, but like, Jesus is here. There is a purpose.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Sige, to say that you are preaching is an understatement, and yeah, I guess thank you for being so willing and open to share, and just to kind of sit at a table with me, and like, quick fire questions with Justin is never, you know, the easiest thing in the world. And thank you for everything that you've said. Thank you for being a part of YouthCulture. It literally would not be the same without you, of course. And I guess I would just say to you as we close, wherever you're watching, whatever you're going through, as heard from Sige's mouth, like, whatever pain that you're experiencing, whatever you feel like is impossible that you're facing, and, you know, maybe you feel like he's not there. The crazy thing is, he is, and it might not feel like it at times, but there's a miracle around the corner. There's a plan and there's a purpose that maybe it's tough to see in the moment, but I believe, and Sige's lived it in the 19 years of her life, and me, the 31 years, easy, 31 years of my life. I've been around a little long enough to know that God does have a plan, and he loves you very, very much. I hope that this helped you and encouraged you. I know it encouraged me, so thank you. If we can help you at all, you can follow us on Instagram at Church Home Youth. Send us a direct message. It's like myself, Kieran, Shaddai, the team, we're there. We also have Pastor Chat that's available almost 24/7. I'm on there too sometimes. You're like, how do we get away from you? You don't. I'm kidding, but we would love to take care of you, to hang out, get you connected to Youth at Home. We love you very much. Thank you again, Sige, for being here. And YouthCulture, we will see you again very soon. Peace.